So he held on, and the dory jerked through the waves behind the herd sloop, the lantern in the bow now, so that Turner couldn't see the herds at all. But the moonlight played on the sloop so that the boat seemed a life-living thing. And if Turner had been in some other moment and not being tugged along behind like a reluctant dog, he might have let himself marvel at the soundless beauty of sail. He had looked into the eye of the whale. The herd sloop towed them up the Kennebec, calling out to other lantern ships as they went by. "Found him! How far out?" "Not that far." "Is it true?" "He had her all right." "Well, does that beat all?" Turner and Lizzie listened to the same exchange more times than they cared to. They sailed past Popham, through the Narrows off Cox's Head, past the lights of Parker Head, and then on up to Phippsburg, the water going more and more slack as they sailed. Any hope Turner had that they might slip in quietly was gone when he saw the score or more of lanterns down by the docks and the crowd of people watching. "Did you find him?" "Sure enough," called Deacon Hurd. "How many in the dory?" called the crowd. Deacon Hurd let a dramatic pause cross the water and hover over his audience. Then, when they were all poised, he cried in a voice that sounded like God's, "2!" "Oh," said the crowd, and then, "Oh," again. So they came up to the dock with more than enough hands reaching out to take the bow and stern lines, and then more than enough hands pulling the tow rope close in, and more than enough hands reaching down to tie it fast. They all stepped back as Turner guided Lizzie, woozy but with her eyes open, up the dock ladder, Mr. Newton reaching down to take her hand and bring her up. And then the crowd was pushing away from her granddaddy, and he was scooping Lizzie into his arms. She was putting her face in his chest and beginning to cry, and without saying more, they turned and walked off the dock together, with the crowd carefully not touching them. Turner was standing at the end of the dock, alone. He thought of the whale, swimming so close to him, but just out of his reach across the dark water. Its skin glistening white and black in the silver moonlight, its great fins slapping the water, and its eye. But now the eyes of most of the communicants of Phippsburg's First Congregational were on him. He felt guilt move toward him like a thickened fog. He could almost see it. The just and perfect Willis Hurd walked past him easily, but the fog embraced Turner like a vampire, and it whispered, "You are not one of us." His father was coming through the crowd at the end of the dock. He came slowly and purposefully, as though the crowd were not there. Turner waited for him without moving. He could feel his father's footsteps on the dock. "You're safe then," said Reverend Buckminster. "Yes." "And the girl who was with you?" "She was hurt. She's with her granddaddy now." Reverend Buckminster nodded. "Your mother's upset. Come along home."